Welcome aboard to this episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to following the entire story of One Piece from beginning to end as we focus on one volume each episode. We keep the discussion spoiler-free for new fans of the series, so this is the perfect place to follow along whether you're new to the series or just want to revisit the world of One Piece with us. This week, we will be covering volume 47, Cloudy, Partly Bony, which covers chapters 450 through 459. My name is Joel, and I'll be your host. And joining me today, we have Sean.
Hello, this is Sean.
And we have Cody.
Hello, this is Cody.
Yeah, so we are now getting deeper into Thorough Bark. So I'm pretty excited to dive in here, get a little further in. I feel like this one's a little bit more kind of fleshing out Thorough Bark. But there's some exciting details that we'll get to in this volume. But before we get into that, just a little recap from where we left off. Blackbeard had revealed the power of his Dark Fruit during his battle with Ace, though the outcome of the duel remains to be seen. Meanwhile, the Straw Hats made it to the Florian Triangle, where they encountered the living gentleman skeleton, Brook. Brook had been stranded in the Florian Triangle alone for decades, after the rest of his crew was wiped out, with him being the sole survivor, thanks to the power of his Revive fruit. Unfortunately, it took his spirit too long to find his body. Only his bones were left. Luffy asks the musician to join his crew. As much as he would like to, he must decline as his shadow had been stolen, leaving him unable to be exposed to the sun. The Thousand Sunny was captured by the world's largest pirate ship known as Thorough Bark, which even contains an island. Brook departs in hopes of getting his shadow back and warns the Straw Hats to leave while they can. Unfortunately, Nami, Usopp, and Chopper got themselves stuck on the island after testing out the Mini Mary and found themselves trapped in the mansion of Dr. Hogback. Dr. Hogback welcomed them as guests, initially denying knowing anything about the zombies roaming the island that attacked them, but the ruse became apparent when they stumbled upon his lab. The rest of the Straw Hats disembarked on the island, came across one of the inhabitants who also had his shadow stolen. He explained to them that Gecko Moria, one of the 7 Warlords of the sea, is the master of this ship, and the one who is stealing the shadows. They came across Hogback's mansion as the clock struck midnight. The time for the hunt is about to begin. Okay, so let's move on into the first chapter, starting with the cover story. Enyo's Great Space Mission, Volume 18, Dr. Tsukimi, Moon-Gazing Connoisseur. Dr. Tsukimi looks at the moon with his robot creations while enjoying some tea and dumplings.
It's so wholesome.
Yeah, so it looks like they were made with their profession costumes.
Wait, what's the one on the left supposed to be? Just like another army man, or I just don't recognize like the hat mainly.
Yeah, it's like a uniform. Like I can't tell if it's like some kind of captain hat or like a buccaneer hat or.
Is he Russian?
Oh, I don't know. Because they do look like warriors from like different time periods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know for sure on that one.
I don't know. Wait, remind me to come back to this once we get into the later volumes.
Okay.
I may have a crackhead theory to connect this to. We'll see.
All right, well, I will try to remind you. But I probably forget myself. So.
Same.
Okay, let's move on to chapter 450, Night of the Zombie Generals. Nami confronts Hogback, accusing him of being behind the zombies on this island. When he asks what evidence she has, she explains they found Sindri's obituary. Angry, he summons the samurai, Ryuma, to drop them into the world of darkness. He enters the room, laughing just like Brook. He also asks to see Nami's underwear, which is also just like Brook, which she points out. Hogback declares this zombie is unlike the others and is one of the zombie generals. He has a special body that was once a legendary samurai from the land of Wano in the New World. The samurai unsheathes his sword and passes by the pirates. Confused, they decide to make a run for it. Unfortunately, the samurai moves so quickly that they didn't notice the attack until 3 steps later. The rest of the Straw Hats have entered the mansion, finding the dining room in disarray. They defeat the room zombies that had attacked their friends earlier with ease, but despite their defeat, the zombies begin to chuckle as they notice Sanji is missing. They decide Sanji can take care of himself, so they need to keep moving, taking Oinkchuk with them as a guide. The zombies warn that they will incur the wrath of their master, but they are too afraid to say his name. But this doesn't scare Luffy, as he threatens to blast the entire island if Moria harms any of his friends. Outside, the zombies party while Absalom enters a crypt, awakening the rest of the zombie generals. All right, thoughts on this one?
Surprise zombies, feeling very surprised.
That's why they call surprise zombies.
That's why they call them that.
I just love seeing the Straw Hats work together to beat down a horde of people, and it just keeps giving these D&D vibes, which I love about the arc.
This whole arc is very much like a Ravenloft detour in the world of One Piece.
I feel like you have like two very different D&D parties. Like the first group that tries to like go along with whatever the DM is doing,
Yeah.
and then like the second group that's like, yeah, we know the DM had plans, but we're gonna do our own thing and totally throw that off the rails. You guys aren't supposed to do that. That wasn't ready yet. Yeah, so we're introduced to this figure was alluded to in the last volume, but now we actually get to see the samurai zombie, who is revealed to be one of the zombie generals, and his name is Ryoma.
It's from this place called the land of the Wano country of the New World.
Oh, I wonder where that is.
And Sean, are you aware of the connection to this character?
I am aware of the connection of this character to a particular other character.
Okay. Yeah, so we are going to incorporate the Monsters Netflix anime special into our volume discussion. I think after maybe next volume, because I think that's when it's going to directly tie into. Well, because there's a scene at the end of it that ties directly into the next volume.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll incorporate that in here because it's a fun connection. But it's also mentioned later on in the SNS here of this character, so where they originate from. But yeah, it's just like a nice way that Oda is tying in some other works that he's done. Next, they mentioned that there was a legend of a samurai who had defeated a dragon, and that's referenced here with this character. And how about the similarities to Brook?
Oh boy.
The attack is cool. I like his laugh. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is like the first time that we have kind of like a good sense of like, okay, well something is definitely up here. Like if you haven't gotten that up to this point, like now you're definitely like, okay, this guy is just like Brook. Like, what's the deal? Because he even has like the same like speech quirks, and like he's making the same jokes. So yeah, he seems to be very similar to Brook.
Some shenanigans may be afoot here. This guy's definitely powerful, though, at the very least.
Yeah.
This guy with his 4 different guns. Or wait, no, even more? I can't even tell. No,
I do love the general zombie designs, especially the one you're referencing too.
Just trying to be the gun version of Zoro. Good luck.
Oda watches Ben 10 once and says, "I got it." And of course, we have one of the greatest panels in Thriller Bark history: the Everybody Zombie Night.
Everybody Zombie Night.
Absolute vibe.
Okay, is it just me, or are you guys getting like Backstreet Boys vibes from this, like Backstreet's Back?
I mean, it's either that or Thriller, but yeah,
Thriller's my
Backstreet's Back is a deep cut, a good cut in terms of like the full on like locational aesthetic, rather than just zombies, but like a haunted mansion, like
yeah, because I think it might be like the everybody part, like everybody, zombie.
Yeah. Studio Wit can avoid the copyright, unlike Toho.
Yeah, they even have like the full-on disco ball going on here.
Hmm.
But I also love the reaction. Going back to the surprise zombies when Luffy isn't scared, where they're like, "Oh no, like we don't want to even say our master's name. That's how afraid we are." Luffy's like, "I don't care about your stupid master Moria. I'm gonna beat him up if he does anything to my friends." We've seen Luffy do this like in the past, but like I just love when he like doesn't back down to like other people because he's so confident in himself. He just cares about his friends.
And expresses confidence in the friends when he's like, "Yeah, Sanji's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
They're gonna die. This is good."
And then when Sanji goes missing, Zoro says, "We lost a super guy," and then Frankie gets offended by that. He's like, "Hey." But Zoro's like so quick to like be like, "Oh, we lost Sanji. No big deal." It's a shame.
Oinkachuck's just a little troll. Hey, you're kind of strong? Okay, yeah, sure.
So yeah, anything else in this one?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move along. Moving on to Enru's Great Space Mission, Volume 19. The moon exploded while we were moon gazing. I hate when that happens.
Yeah. Really, really sours the whole night.
Just want to enjoy my
Doctor
dumplings, man.
Dr. Tsukimi and his machine friends were shocked when part of the moon exploded. Yeah, once again we get the punctuation with little design choices. So there's like little gears on the question mark and the exclamation mark.
This poor man. He just wanted to enjoy his dumplings in peace.
All right, Cody, how about you give us your summary for the next chapter?
Chapter 451, Perona's Wonder Garden. Absalom sends the zombie generals after the Straw Hats and gets snuck up on by Lola, a boar zombie in a wedding dress who tries to persuade him into marrying her. Absalom tells her that he already has his eyes set on Nami, whom Lola sets out to kill after Absalom shows her Nami's bounty poster. Perona instructs Kumasi to bring a coffin that will be delivered by the Risky Brothers to Moria, while she goes to collect the Straw Hat's treasure. The Risky Brothers, two small squirrel zombies, end up dropping the coffin en route to Perona's room, and Usopp, Chopper, and Nami spill out. The Risky Brothers run off to find backup, and the Weakling trio realizes they've been brought all the way behind the mansion to a passageway connecting it to an even bigger building. Usopp and Chopper decide to run away before they can get turned into zombies, but Nami thinks back to what the surprise zombies said in the mansion about the room they were attacked in and realizes there must be a treasure chamber somewhere in the mansion. Before the three of them can come to an agreement about which way to go, a penguin zombie trio, the one with the dog faces new, greet them and introduce a pack of mix and match animal zombies that have come up behind them. The zombies welcome them to Perona's Wonder Garden and rush in to attack. Usopp and Chopper take a few out but end up defeated. As the zombie is about to cut Nami down, the dog-faced penguin zombie slaps the sword out of the way. He says that even if it means going against his master's orders or kills him, he won't ever kick a woman, and the Weakling trio listen in shock. In the mansion, Luffy's group question Oinkachuck as they make a realization. Zoro's disappeared as well. But he's probably just lost, so it's fine.
Yeah, I'm not that concerned about this. Like, this could have happened anywhere.
Sanji's just off doing some covert James Bond stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, Zoro thought he was going to further into the mansion. He's going to the ship, going the wrong way again.
So Lola, it's just this weird thing where I don't want to condone trying to force Absalom into marriage, but most like it is Absalom, so it's like this is eye for an eye, marriage for a marriage. She gets a pass.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and that's like how I feel too. Where it's like, yeah, like it's not right, but like you said, it's
it couldn't have happened to a better person. Like,
if anybody, it's like okay.
And I also do love the sheer just cut to and it's just like like just painting his finger and just
Yeah, this feels a little bit more lighthearted and fun than what Absalom was doing to Nami and Robin.
Yeah.
Yep. That's yeah.
Much more fun.
I was not
insane.
here for last week, but deeply fucked up.
Yeah.
Deeply. Yeah, TLDR, mistakes were made. I was still this running feud of Perona telling Kumasi to stop talking.
Yeah, I love this gag. It doesn't get old for me. Like I can see it getting old for some people, but like
I feel bad.
I
I
think
feel
it's funny.
bad for Kumasi. I just think he's
Yeah.
whether he talks or not. But
Well, like he can't win, so like yeah. It's just funny.
I feel like I don't know, like I think Thriller Bark is about where I stopped watching the anime, so I didn't hear like the official voice. But like just based on how they describe it, I feel like it's kind of cute that Kumasi would have this really deep voice.
Yeah.
Because like, oh, you're so adorable, but like it doesn't match. But like there's something kind of like adorable and cute in that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
I'm like, oh buddy. But maybe it's because he's not allowed. I don't know.
It's just like probably being like super particular and like overly like critical for something that's like it doesn't really matter that much.
Mhm.
But yeah, he's just kind of like superficial and like shallow in that way.
Damn hot topic, kids.
Yeah, then we get introduced to this little zombie penguin dog that defends Nami.
Yeah. Oh, so I was reading through this on my breaks at work, and so I had to keep track of my place, and I found the perfect bookmark.
Oh, there you go, Nupe.
Yeah. Well, my friends opened a pack of the Japanese set that's about
Oh,
to come out
nice,
here, and
nice.
they gave me this. I'm like, oh well, this is just perfect, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It is perfect.
I do love Inupe.
Yeah, I kind of love like this whole like kind of freak show of like these mishmashed creatures that are part of like Perona's like Wonder Garden. So like, I almost kind of feel like this is like an extension of like what she enjoys. So we see her like talking to Kumasi, be like, "Oh, you're not cute," but like are these the things that she thinks are cute? Like,
Yeah. Kumasi is just too traditionally cute.
yeah,
That's the problem. I do think the koala zombie with like the striped shirt's kind of adorable. But then it's like, hey, beat him into a pulp, tie him down. I'm like, ah, man, you're so close. That was kind of a deal breaker. I can't lie. No, wait. The pug cow zombie, adorable. Actually, like legitimately.
Yeah.
I also really like the way Oda structured the page where Inupe stops the sword because when I was reading through it the first time, I just skipped from the "I'm gonna beat you to a pulp" panel like right down to the impact, and just but then those very little panels of the sword coming down, Nami trying to guard her face, Inupe seeing, Inupe going through, cut back to the was this, is it a boar zombie? I don't even know what it's a warhog.
It's like a
I
like a
don't.
warhog. Yeah.
Yeah. This warthog zombie. It just goes so quick that it's very easy to skip over, which feels like a very deliberate choice and very good for the flow of it because it's just such a quick blink and you miss it action. I do like the
Yeah.
way that Oda decided to panel that out.
Yeah, he even like breaks through the sword. Which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the action's pretty good for these scenes here.
And so anytime these three have screen time together is always so fun. Something's wrong with your eyes. Hey.
Yeah, just look at
We
that
know
there.
what this means.
Of course, I'm scared too, but then we got the money sign. Yeah. Also, did you guys notice the zombie general named Captain John?
I did.
Yeah. So this is the pirate whose treasure that Buggy was looking for back when Ace found him. Yeah, he was looking for Captain John's treasure.
They did mention that, didn't they?
So we actually get to see Captain John himself, somewhat in the flesh. Yeah, I don't have anything else in this one.
My only other thing is more of Robin's morbid humor.
Oh, which one was this one?
Yeah, at the very end, she's just like, "Oh, that's odd. If he's gone, was he strangled to death without a sound?" I'm like, "Yep, you're comfy with everybody. You're just vibing. And I love that for you. You know, good for her."
Well, she's always had that that vibe about her. Even when they first had her, when they were on the way to Jaya, and and when they were under the water, and then the giant turtle came up, and oh, maybe they all died.
Oh, 100%. And like in Skypiea, when Zoro swings across, or it's someone, but she was like, "Oh, the clouds be red if someone got eaten by a sky
Oh
shark."
yeah.
It's just, but like Water 7A's lobby, we didn't get to see that. And I just feel like it's a sign that she's comfortable with them, and I just really love the fact that she's doing it again now. It's just
Yeah.
it's very nice. Good for her.
She goes to the worst way to put people at ease.
I sympathize. I've been there before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, is that it for this one?
I think
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's move on. Enru's Great Space Mission, Volume 20. Tearful departure after choking on a dumpling. The shock from seeing the moon explosion had caused Dr. Tsukimi to choke on a dumpling and pass away.
Sure. I feel bad for him. He tried.
He went out like a true baller.
Definitely how he wanted to go.
Yeah, it's very sudden. We have this little chill moment. They're all having a nice time, moon gaze, and all of a sudden he gets surprised and he was dead.
I imagine they were just very good dumplings, though. So it's
They were to die for.
I should have seen that coming. I should have walked into that. Okay. Nice.
Okay. Let's move on to chapter 452, Jigoro of the Wind. Luffy does what any person would do in his situation: put on a suit of armor. Frankie tells him not to fool around, but Luffy shouts back that it's every man's dream to wear a suit of armor. Frankie asks for forgiveness and prepares a song with his apology. Luffy, Robin, and Frankie reach the end of the hall and notice a large room like a coliseum. Suddenly, Frankie is ambushed by a zombie also wearing a suit of armor. Frankie fights back, but the zombie won't stay down. Oinkchuk makes his escape, but tells the Straw Hats that they won't stand a chance against the zombie generals who are all famous warriors when they were alive. A wall zombie seals off Oinkchuk from the pirates, also blocking them in with the powerful zombies in front of them. As they fight off the zombies, Luffy recognizes one of Zoro's attacks. It's not Zoro, but a zombie named Jigoro. Frankie tries to use fire against the zombies, but they came prepared with buckets of water. Robin and Frankie escape through the door and make it outside, though Luffy didn't. Above, they see a coffin hanging with a chain as it travels above them, hearing Luffy's voice coming from inside. Frankie says that they have to get him out, but their path is now blocked by the spider monkey Tarlon. With enemies on both sides, the spider monkey tells them that this is the end for them.
I almost get an Earthworm Jim vibe from the way Luffy looks in this armor.
I could totally see that, yeah.
Also, the scale mail is
Groovy.
short, which is a very interesting choice. I'm here for it.
Mm.
I feel like Frankie would approve.
Yeah.
It's a man's outfit.
Yeah, this is a fun little interaction here. Frankie, come on, it's every man's dream to wear a suit of armor. He's like, "You're right. How could you forget?" He's like, "You're so right. My bad. That's on me. Let me sing you a song." He tells him, "Oh yeah." Frankie says, "Forgive me. I don't mean to have a heart of iron."
Very nice of him to just immediately admit when he was wrong.
It was great getting to see him establish his vibe within the crew too.
Meanwhile,
Still-
Rob's just like,
still-
yeah, I'm gonna be out in the hall. You guys do this. I'm gonna go do my
Let me look at these decrepit circus tents. This is morbid enough for me to be interested in.
Mm.
I'm definitely taking the vibes here.
Mm-hmm. You got some nice combat. I'm getting T-bone vibes from this the swordplay of this zombie here.
Hmm.
The
Oh
Frankie
yeah,
fights. I miss T-bone.
except it's not a bright angle slash. It's
They're perpendicular. I miss him.
yeah. The zombies are stepping up the game. Yeah, they have armor now.
And they're crafty enough to bring water.
Yeah, like we're not gonna fool us twice.
That's what really makes you a general. Strategy.
Yep.
I'm trying to look through these general zombie panels, see if we find your guy.
Yeah, I don't see him over here.
I don't know what happened to him. Such cool design. We have this guy with the Wolverine claws, though. That's pretty sick.
Oh yeah, huh? That is pretty cool. It looks like he has wolf legs.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up with the guy with like the pointy things on his head with the long neck?
I really dig his vibe too, honestly.
Yeah, like I'm like real curious. Like what is he?
Mm-hmm. Is he like a Pokemon?
Does he say his own name?
Yeah, what do you guys think of Jigoro over here?
Yeah.
7,000 powers to protect his family. I kind of vibe with it. I like his shirt. From the hips down, I don't know what he's going for, but like power to him.
Yeah, I mean he looks a little bit less cool than Zoro,
Mm-hmm.
just a little bit, but maybe he's
Still
like
has
Zoro's
a
biggest fan.
Oh my god. He still has the third sword. He's just not using it.
Yeah, that's true. He does have 3 swords, just like Zoro. He says, "A scar on the back is a swordsman's shame, but I'm covered in scars." Yeah. So now we have a third character who seems to be imitating another character.
Mm-hmm. What could it mean? And we see
And of course,
Luffy.
Luffy.
Yeah.
Oh, what were you
Luffy.
saying?
I was gonna say that we see Luffy actually get abducted, basically.
Yeah. Like it would happen to Luffy, wouldn't it?
100%. 100%. I probably thought there's food in there or something. It's just a mobile pantry. That's what this is.
Like I do love like the sequence though where it's like they just like Frankie and Robin decided to run out. They're like, okay, our stuff wasn't working. Let's get out of here. And then it's like, oh wait, where's Luffy? And then like you see like the coffin come up. But it's just like, yeah, like of course, like our like captain would be the one to get caught. Now we have to go save him.
And Frankie can't recognize him because he's still wearing armor.
Yeah, and I really like the design for Tarlon.
Yeah.
Like, I love it's a spider monkey, but it's like a spider with like the monkey head and like the front hands and the tail, like a little spider monkey.
And every section of his body has a totally different pattern too, which is nice.
Yeah,
Like the legs are striped. The thorax, I don't know, is sort of not polka dot. I guess like a bunch of bullseyes, and
yeah.
the tail head is fully solid. Seems like a fun touch.
Look, spiders are my favorite animal, but even for me, this is a bit too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like spiders, just not monkeys.
You look, chocolate. This isn't chocolate and peanut butter. This is oil and water. It's like they're both useful, but you don't want to mix these things. Like it's just, they're fine on their own.
This is not a Steve Buscemi original. Spy Kids 2? No way? Okay, you can cut that.
I see Spy Kids too, but it's probably been like 20 years. Probably more than that, actually.
Highly recommend. Highly. It holds up, in my opinion.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters, so I'm not sure when that was.
02.
Okay, so yeah, I was like 12.
Don't ask me why I know that. Don't ask me why I know that.
Why do you know that?
Yeah, I fell off after Spy Kids 3D. That's where I jumped the shark.
Just like the franchise.
Okay, anything else in this one?
No.
Okay. Moving on. Enru's Great Space Mission, Volume 21, To the Moon. Lieutenant Spacey and his friends ride balloons to the moon.
There you go.
That's one way to do it.
To only go where no balloon has ever gone before.
He's so determined. I love him.
Yeah, I love his face in this panel. Like, yeah, he's like, I'm on a mission. A great space mission. Okay, let's get Cody's summary for the next chapter.
Chapter 453. Cloudy, partly bony. The wild zombies question the dog penguin zombie Inupe's ability to go against orders and his strength. The weakling trio assumes that he'll help them since he's talking like Sanji, but he instead hits Usopp and Chopper. At the same time, Absalom appears in the garden with Lola in pursuit. Once Lola sees Nami, she tries to behead her with an axe, but Inupe intercepts the blow. He is unable to bring himself to return the strike, and while Usopp and Chopper are distracted, Absalom, invisible, grabs Nami and starts to run off with her. He introduces himself and informs her of their impending marriage, and Nami escapes by shocking him with a thunder charge. Absalom is shocked by what he interprets as the strength of his love, and Lola runs after Nami. The wild zombies decide to pursue them as well, and Absalom orders that they stay away from Nami. The wild zombies insult him and say they only answer to Perona, but Absalom threatens them with a reminder that they shouldn't take him off either. Inupe stands up to Absalom on his own, still wishing to protect Nami, and Absalom propels him through the trees and into a wall with an invisible blast. On the zombie general side, Robin and Frankie are surrounded by Taralan and the zombie generals. They confirm Zoro and Sanji were sucked into the wall like Luffy was, and realize that Taralan was the one who trapped the Sunny in a giant spider web. Frankie fires a coup de vent at the connecting passageway to send the zombies to the ground, and Robin supports them both by making wings with Cien Fleur. She can only fly for 5 seconds though, so Frankie grapples onto the other end of the passageway with strong right. Taralan yells that he'll just scurry back up to them, but they all hear something in the sky above them. Brooke, screaming and falling to the ground below.
Oh, guess why it's called Cloudy, Partly Bony.
Yeah.
Raining bones.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love the hand wing. It's the most like creepy. I love whenever Robin's powers get used in a particularly like abstract, like weird kind of way, and this is just like one of the Pika examples of just like that's so gross, but I love it. It's so
it's
weird
so
to think
cool.
about, but it's great.
Like, that's so creative.
Mm. If you
And,
also like only in the close up, if you just showed someone just the top part of like page 16, or that's what mine is, with just the large thing, you couldn't tell that those are hands.
Yeah.
It just looks like feathers. But when it does the little zoom in, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, it's just like, when Robin, like, yeah, in Skypiea, when she extended like her hands, like with other hands, like to the, like other parts of, like, of the arms, and like eventually at the end she puts an eye. It's like that's like the kind of stuff that's like such a creative use of the ability that like you might not think of at first, and like he was like, oh, can she do that? Okay, so it's like when you like start to think about like what she can do with her powers, like this is like the next step where it's like, okay, so she's like making all these arms into wings that can practically fly, but only for like 5 seconds. So I think that's like a really like creative and like smart way to use her powers. It's not like she can just fly forever here. She's like, okay, well, I can carry you for like 5 seconds, and after that, that's like that's all I can handle. Yeah, no pun intended. We get more about the zombie penguin dog.
Yeah.
So Usopp initially says, "Hey, Inupeng," which I'm sure a lot of people know, but like Inu would be dog,
Mm.
but they chose to go with Inu. I think to show how they came up with this name here, because then he
Yep.
takes like part of like Peng, so he'd be dog penguin, and then it just becomes Inupe.
I do just love the the badass pose he's making as he gives this whole speech about the power that blows everything away. Love. It's so great.
It's like, okay, yeah, this guy's definitely giving like Sanji vibes here. Which this is where like the rest of them pick up on him being like, yeah, this is like totally Sanji here. Yeah, so even down to like him saying I can't hit a woman, which ties back to kind of what he was saying in Annie's lobby. We're saying like I can never bring myself to hit a woman. So this ties back and it shows it's a big part of Sanji's character. And in this case here, like we're seeing even like a zombie woman, like it doesn't matter. A woman's like somebody he's never gonna hurt. So he's consistent with that.
Yeah. I'll keep that in the back pocket for something later, but
Okay.
I love Brook falling from the sky and then mentioning again that he's a skeleton. There we go. That fits to his
Love that.
chapter.
I also love how shocked Talaran is.
Mm.
Taralan. I was so thrown off by the way they decided to Romanize it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
What do you used to?
Talaran. The L
Talaran?
first, then the R.
Oh,
But
I
like
don't
think
they're unless Oda's officially Romanized somewhere, they're both equally valid. It's just not what I'm used to.
I see. Yeah.
Also, the little when Brook falls down, the fact the exclamation points are also bones for the boom
Oh,
sound.
yeah, the boom.
It's so I just noticed that. I love it.
And is he saying bone because I'm a skeleton saying instead of saying boom because I'm like, is that what he's
I guess that's the joke there. Yeah, I didn't fully get that one either.
I would assume as much.
And then, look at the page before how Robin got up to the ledge and like jumped off of Frankie. So very much how like Nami would have done the same thing like in Syrup Village. How like Nami like used like Zoro as like a stepping stone to like not fall down the oil slick.
Yeah.
So Robin's like, I'm gonna jump off of Frankie to make sure I get up there. And she also has a funny moment too, where she remarks how Tyroland has big ears. She's like, "Oh, it must be useful for collecting information." Excuse me, what? Like,
What?
just no. I don't think that really comes back. I think it's just for this one little gag.
I think so. Yeah.
And even like Frankie and Robin have a little like back and forth here.
You stepped on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deal with it.
Yeah, it's nice seeing these two still have like moments together after Ennie's Lobby because they were the ones that like kind of bonded during the Ennie's Lobby arc when Robin was pretty much left with nobody except for Frankie during Ennie's Lobby. So it's nice to see that they're still connecting here.
I love their chemistry so much. I know that. I think that Frankie Robin, like I don't know how I feel about shipping in One Piece. I know that this is like one of the most popular pairings.
Yeah.
And when I first heard of it, I had just not noticed it because I was the furthest thing from a shipper when I read this like, back in the day. But like in this chapter, I think a couple of times I'm like, oh wait, the vibes are just so there. Wait, they're really cute. Oh no. Oh, I'm a Robin shipper. Oh no. They're cute. So I'm like, okay. Yeah. Didn't mean to hijack with my shipping, but like I support it.
Hey, you guys got anything else on this one?
No.
All right, moving on to chapter 454, The Humming Swordsman. Usopp and Chopper try to hold Lola off from attacking Nami, but it's no use. Before Lola can kill her, Nami blurts out she's actually a man named Namizo. This surprises Lola, as well as Chopper, who had no idea. They sit down and chat about a plan for Lola to make Absalom marry her. Now that they have become friends, Nami asks where the treasure room is, as something of hers was taken. Lola is eager to help, telling her the treasure is near Perona's room. Absalom returns, which is the pirate's cue to run, while Lola pursues him. On the Thousand Sunny, Perona loots the ship with the zombies, mostly finding food, as Hilton arrives, announcing that Moria will reveal Zombie 900 soon. Now that Luffy has been captured, so the Mysterious Three are being summoned. Absalom evaded Lola for now, but was unable to find out where Nami had gone. He comes across Kumasi and asks if the pirates came by, but before he can answer, Perona returns and tells him to stop talking because it's not cute. Unknown to them, the pirates snuck into Kumasi's body. Holden appears as well, warning the humming swordsman has returned. As Frankie and Robin try to figure out what fell from the sky, they see a hole shaped like Brook and able to piece it together. Carlon was able to weave a web and has caught up with Frankie and Robin. Frankie has an idea and tells Robin to keep the spider monkey busy. Robin outsmarts the zombie, using her powers to slap his eye, making him use his hands to cover his eyes, and he got webbed in them. Frankie has fashioned some stone pillars into large nunchucks, smashing the zombie. While Frankie fights, Robin puts her guard down as spider mice have appeared and trapped her in webs. Suddenly they hear a laugh and some singing. Brook arrives, slashing the spider monkey down the middle. Okay, where to start with this one?
Oh man, there's a lot.
To find out that Nami's actually a man?
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
But like, it was a very sly gambit.
Yeah,
It was a desperate attempt.
she went for it.
She committed. They committed. She committed.
I do love Chopper's reaction to that.
Yeah, Choppers
that
and
is very funny.
and Usopp. Come on now, like Chopper, chill out, dude.
Like Chopper saw her last volume in the bath.
Oh,
It's been some very heavy steam.
I guess so. Lola, you're a zombie. A loophole, a rotten logical loophole.
I know that Lola is trying to get someone to marry her against their will.
But again,
But,
it's
like, just the
Absalom.
fact- it is Absalom, so again, you get a pass. But it's just like the fact that she's like friendship. I'm like, oh man, oh Lola, oh.
Yeah, they go from this antagonistic relationship to being like best friends.
I do love that.
And I love that like Nami's giving her advice, even though it's like completely misguided. But she's like, all right, so if you're trying to do this, this is how you do it. Like,
So, can I do that ethically? Really?
As a human being.
As a human being?
it's like, no, you're going about this all wrong.
Like, the comedic structure of this is impeccable.
Yeah.
It's, yeah. Some of the jokes, like, I don't know if they land, but, like, just, like, the structure of it's so well done.
And then Nami not missing an opportunity to find this as an opportunity to get, like, treasure. So but now that she's gotten Lola's trust, like, Lola's, like, an open book.
100%. She's a nice gal once you get to know her. So good. So good. I think that the trio hiding in Kumasi is such a great gag.
Yeah.
And Oda milks it, and I'm here for it. I will take as many stops at the dairy as I can because it's just so damn funny.
Which ties in perfectly to, again, the joke where Perona won't let Kumasi speak.
Yeah.
It's already been like established that like that's like a thing she does. So now this is a perfect way to tie that back in a way that like makes it so he's not going to give them up for hiding here, and like he's so like easy to walk over that like he doesn't be like, oh no, but this is like really important. Like I need to tell you this. He just kind of like he just doesn't say anything because he was told not to, so he listens.
It's just like, okay, what's we've established the pieces. That it's like, okay, how far can we push this?
Hmm.
And it's just such a fun ride
Yeah.
to see how big this envelope can get. Even your description of this chapter made me realize just how funny Frankie and Robin trying to figure out what this hole in the ground could be is too. Like, God, so silly.
But even like the hole has hair from the Afro
And the top
top
hat, the top hat. Looney Tunes.
Yeah, it's very comical.
Nunchucks are kind of ingenious.
Yeah,
Also silly.
I've been trying to like put together at what point did Frankie start carrying these quote unquote nunchucks with him? Because I'm pretty sure he had it since last volume, but I don't know if they ever like acknowledge it in any way as to why he was bringing them around with him.
Yeah.
Frankie could get away with. Okay, I'm not muted. Okay, thank God. Okay.
Yeah.
He could, considering that like he has so many various compartments in his body, he could be like, I brought an entire folding chair with me, or I brought an entire like camping supply set, and I'd be like, sure, Frankie, you just have it all in your chest, like so.
The credibility has been set up.
Yeah.
You know what?
I'm with
That
you.
that does make me feel better about that, but it's just kind of like it just made me like think about it. It's like, wait, why did he have this with him? Was it just in case he found a pillar to make into nunchucks? Like,
Just might be.
or was he planning on using the nunchucks independently? Like, but he's like, oh, this is even better. Like,
That was my guess. But I also feel like I should be like hey, let's see what happens with these.
but if that was the case,
It's
why didn't he
just-
use them earlier when the zombies were like surrounding them? I would think the nunchucks might have helped in that case.
That's a good point.
Mm,
Maybe they just wouldn't have been.
it wouldn't have been fair.
I was gonna say it wouldn't have been cool enough, but yeah, that too. No, he has this very fuck around and find out kind of energy, and I vibe with it.
Like, I'm not complaining that he makes like nunchucks out of the pillars here. I was just
Yeah.
questioning why he had them.
Oh, it's valid, and I didn't realize
Yeah.
how valid it was until you mentioned it. I'm just here for it at the same
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
But I do love how Robin tricks Tarlon into like webbing his own eyes.
Yeah.
And like the panel, he's got like all the webs coming out. Like, yeah, that's a cool panel.
Another good gambit. And then Brooke gets a great moment. And get to see what he's made of.
Yeah.
It's more verses to Binks's brew.
Yep. Yeah, I love that he starts singing. Like, so you like just hear the song before you actually see him, and then he enters the fight.
Yeah, he does some damage. He's kind of a badass, it looks like.
Yeah.
No
He
bones
also
about
uses-
it. He's pretty good. He's got he's got a bone to pick with this thing.
Yeah, he does use the same move that Ryuma used earlier.
Mm.
To replace notch slash.
Yes, it's all right. The match is already over. Damn, Brooke.
That is pretty cool though.
Pretty cool.
Then we have on the Thousand Sunny, they're looting. They're mostly food. There's like no treasure because the pirates without treasure. Then we get the announcement that the zombie number 900 is going to be revealed.
Ooh, spooky 900. Ooh.
Yeah, but did you guys have anything else on this chapter?
That's about it for me. Very, very fun, very silly, but also things are starting to heat up a little bit, which is nice.
Yeah. right, well, how about we move on to the next part of the cover story? We have Enru's Great Space Mission, Volume 22. He who killed the Doctor. A man's got to do what a man's got to do. Lieutenant Spacey and his friends face down the space pirate responsible for causing the explosion that caused the Doctor to die.
I feel like they're abusing the transitive property here.
Yeah, something about this seems to not add up.
Just based on the background and like all these goons he's got, do I think he's up to something wholesome? No. Would I say he's directly responsible? Also, no. I don't know. Her heart's in the right place. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they weren't purposely trying to have the guy choke on his dumpling. It just happened. But yeah. I do like their moxie here, where they're like facing down the space pirate, who looks like a cool villain. They look like an RPG party facing down the boss. You got like different classes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's nice theme music playing in the background. Moon music. I don't know what that sounds like, but it sounds fun.
Okay, Cody, you want to give us your summary for the next one?
Chapter 455, Gecko Moria of the Seven Warlords of the Sea. A bleeding Tamerlan recognizes Brooke, who mentions that the zombies have a weakness to Robin and Frankie. Suddenly, a black substance flies out of Tamerlan's mouth and he collapses. The Spider-Mice panic upon realizing that Brooke is the same man who made a mess of Thriller Bark 5 years ago and scurry off to report the matter. Brooke gives Robin and Frankie info on how to get out of Tamerlan's rebs and explain what he learned on Thriller Bark 5 years ago. The zombies are created when Moria steals a person's shadow with his devil fruit power and inserts it into a corpse. With Hogback's expertise, Moria has access to incredibly powerful corpses to utilize, and goes after pirates with bounties to increase the zombies' battle abilities while still demanding obedience. Since Moria no longer needs a shadow's original owner after the fact, they're sent back to the sea while still unconscious. Frankie realizes that this is bad news for Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, but Brooke explains that he has a plan. In the mansion, the mysterious three meet their master, Gecko Moria. Luffy is also present, bound and trapped in a cage. He takes issue when Moria says he'll be the Pirate King, and demands that Moria return his friend. The weakling trio try to discuss the situation from inside Kumasi without blowing their cover. Luckily, Perona keeps telling him to shut up. Luffy fights with the bars and makes a break for freedom, but Perona subdues him with her negative hollow. A light shines on Luffy, and Moria lifts his shadow up from the ground and cuts it off of Luffy, proclaiming that he can now create the strongest special zombie in the history of the world. Yeah.
Yeah, so we actually get to see Gecko Moria, and then
Yeesh.
see Gecko Moria in action.
He's a
Weird
What do you
looking
call him?
thing. Weird looking dude.
he is a looker. He looks like something. I'm getting like this weird Clockwork Orange Oogie Boogie sort of vibe from him.
Hmm.
It's a little off-putting. It's probably the effect, but like, yeesh.
Also very big.
Very big. It's a big guy. I bet Luffy calls him an onion.
Yeah.
Also, we get confirmation that a soul exists in at least some capacity within the One Piece world. Within the shadow.
Hmm. Yeah. So we get the explanation for why we've been seeing these zombies who act like other characters. But yeah, I mean, like the shadow is like an extension of the person, to the point where like their personality is carried over, which is, I think that's like a really fun and creative way to use this power. And it's like with the vibes, it totally fits well into Throw a Bark, with, you know, the kind of Halloweeny thing, and like having a shadow fruit, and like how you can practically use that. So yeah, I think it's like a really fun way that we see like him use this power, and like what their goal has been to combine powerful shadows with powerful bodies to make even more powerful soldiers that are obedient to him.
It's yeah. And obedience is the biggest thing for him,
Yeah.
which is huge. I think
But
it's
they
something
see
we'll probably get
Luffy,
more
who's like
into.
all bark and no bite to them.
Mhm.
Like Moria isn't like concerned about him. Like he doesn't like get mad. Like Luffy gets mad when like Moria says like I want to be the king of the pirates, but like when Moria hears Luffy say the same thing, he's just like he doesn't really like pay any mind to him. He's like that like you're not even like on my radar. Like I'm not worried about you. Like I already got you.
Yeah.
That's yeah, he's definitely got the right idea. He definitely understands who Luffy is. And yeah, this is just going to be totally easy and yeah. Yeah. His confidence is completely well placed and easy peasy. Shadow squeezy.
Well, one thing I like from Gecko Mori's introduction in his text box, it says his motto is rely on others, and his favorite line is "You do it." So I think it's really like showing like what kind of person he is, and he's like all about like, oh, let me delegate. I'm like I want people to do things for me. Like I'm calling the shots. I like to be in command. I like to be the powerful one. Like, yeah, he just doesn't seem concerned about things because like he's so confident in himself, and he wants other people to just take care of stuff
I
for
mean,
him.
that is ultimately what the zombie army is on a grand scale. Is just more and
Exactly.
more and more servants and more delegation and more just like you all take care of it. Here, I'll start the recipe, but then you all just go off on your own.
Exactly.
It is very cohesive, which I do like about this introduction.
I should be reborn as a sea slug. I want to die.
I do hate Absalom, but I do enjoy. I kind of enjoy his commentary.
The man who just said he was going to be the pirate king now has to be a sea slug. This is just cool.
I think it's just so I'm 50-50 on whether I find Absalom's little interjections hilarious or funny for that matter, because this one, the fact he's like, oh, this is just cool, or really yeah, you're a little strict on Kumasi. The repetition of it, very funny. The fact that it's Kumasi and Kumasi being hilarious in himself, very funny. But then I'm also like, Absalom, are you adding anything to the conversation? You're yesing,
No,
but are you yes-anding?
he
No,
just
yeah,
wants
I'm like,
he wants to be included.
right, I'm like, you're kind of a shitty improviser, dude. Like, figure it out. Go to UCB or some shit. Like, come on, man.
I
So
get hit by
yeah.
a stray bullet.
Ah!
Yeah, Sindri's character is like endlessly entertaining to me as well.
Sindri's great.
No one will
Sindri's
ever
great.
marry you. No one will ever marry you either.
Yeah.
She's so cutthroat. She doesn't give a fuck. Her whole mission is to just drag Hogback through the mud, and I love it. Also, Luffy biting through the bars.
Yeah. Yeah, so in contrast with Moria, like Luffy is a go-getter and he's a person who's like, I'm gonna go out and take what I want. Whereas like Moria's like, I don't wanna do the work, I wanna sit back and like let you do that for me. Go get what I want for me, you know?
And I'm gonna have a crew that is strong, but wants to support me
Hmm.
rather than has to. Which I feel like does tie in with like a lot of like the stuff we saw in Water 7, now that I think about it a little more. This feels like a nice contrast and slash progression of that.
Yeah.
But that's also like a little ancillary. Um, but it is a nice contrast between the two. And also, could Luffy have just beaten Mr. One on his own?
Just bite him.
Just bite him. You don't need to cut steel, you can just bite steel. Zoro's a fraud, confirmed. No, I'm sorry. That was uncalled for.
Too far,
That was
too far.
Too far. That was messed up. I'm sorry.
But I just think that Moria, like we haven't really seen too much of Moria so far, but just from this one chapter, I guess kind of what we've been seeing throughout the volume as well, because we haven't even seen him up to this point. So I think it kind of says a lot as well. But compared to other people that Luffy has faced, we've seen other pirates who are directly opposed to Luffy's philosophy and his approach to being captain. So, Kuro was another person who's like, you guys are here to serve me. It's all about me. Buggy kind of same thing. But again, Luffy, we saw the last volume go to such a length for one of his crewmates. Like, I would never see Moria doing something like that. Like, he would not go to those lengths to save one of his subordinates. He'd be like, that's fine, I'll just make another one. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go out of my way to save that person. So I think we can already see like a big contrast between these two types of characters and what they value. And where, like, again, we have a pirate who's putting the importance on them as opposed to their friends. And like Luffy sees his role as a protector of his friends, not people who are there to serve him.
Overall, a very powerful introduction.
But I just like love the way that they show the shadows being taken, how they put the spotlight on them to like really like have the shadow pop, and then he grabs the shadow from the floor, and he takes these giant scissors after stretching the shadow off of Luffy and just snips it. So like it's so cool the way he does that.
Yeah, it's very thematic.
And just so comical at the same time.
Yeah. I just see like the fight just drain right out of Luffy like right away.
Yeah, very fun chapter.
Luffy turns into Mr. Game & Watch. That's what I think whenever I see one of the shadow things like that.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Then we also see that Brook has learned the weakness of the zombies and how to purify them to remove the shadows from the zombies. Because we see him remove the shadow from Tarlon. But he doesn't say exactly what it is yet. Yeah, I think
How many bone puns does Brook go through in the course of this chapter? 3? I'm a skeleton, but I don't have a face. Get it? Another skull joke. Even though I don't have any eyes.
I dab my eyes too at first, even though I don't have any eyes.
Yeah.
Frank is like, I might beat you up if you don't quit joking.
You have to be out of your skull.
Robin's like, yes, go ahead and beat him up. And then, like,
please.
The next panel, he's like, he's on the ground with a big bump on his head.
Robin's this way, stop it. He's already dead.
Then he continues talking after like just being beat up. Hey, you guys have anything else for this one?
No, I'm ready to
go.
Okay, moving on to Enru's Great Space Mission Volume 23, Ultimate Mortification. The space pirate was too strong. Lieutenant Spacey, in the present, thinks back to when his friends were wiped out by the space pirate. Yep, so we had a pretty good idea of how this fight was going to go. Because we saw the aftermath already.
Yeah. Where is Enru at this point?
Well, he's probably just chilling.
Yeah.
This is all all the ones we've had in this volume were just a flashback or a memory of
right.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get more Enru pretty soon. But for now, moving on to chapter 456, Demon from the Land of Ice. Frankie is confused as to why Brook told them to go back to their ship. He explains that once someone's shadow is removed, they will pass out for 2 days. They can't kill the person without killing the shadow, so they send them adrift to prevent them from coming back to get their shadows. The pirates would have been taken back to their ship, but if they can wake them up first, they will have a chance to get their shadows back. He hands him a pouch of salt, explaining this is the zombie's weakness, as it contains the essence of the sea. Robin asks how he knows so much. He tells him how he lost his shadow 5 years ago, but when he had a chance to get his shadow back, he fled the island in fear of his life as he made a pact with a friend that he needs to fulfill. He prepares to leave in pursuit of the one who took his shadow, but Frankie stops him to ask him something. As Nami, Usopp, and Chopper watch as Moria handles Luffy's shadow, Hogback says this is what they have been working towards for the past 10 years. Moria says no matter how defiant a person is, their shadow will become obedient to him. If he had this much power before, he wouldn't have lost to Kaido in the New World. As they prepare to enter the freezer, the mice spiders report to Absalom that Tarlon's shadow was removed. They deduce this is the work of the humming swordsman, though Moria is unconcerned. Without a way to escape, the strats inside the bear decide to stick around to see if they can find out what will happen to Luffy. As Robin and Frankie run back to the Sunny, Frankie has broken into tears from whatever Brooke had told him, having a newfound respect for the skeleton. Brooke finds a zombie that has a shadow, the zombie samurai Ryuma. Moria and his followers enter zombie 900's freezer. Moria is excited to have the power of the continent Polar, who was responsible for destroying the entire island 500 years ago. It is time to bring Ors, the giant berserker warrior beast, back to life. Yeah, so we get the answer to what Brooke was doing to purify the zombies.
Very direct.
I mean, makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I like how there's an in-world explanation for why salt works on them, because it would have an effect on the devil fruit, but it also ties back to, like, just in general, like media or like, supernatural type things. Like you would use salt for like purifying or like, protection of circles, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So it's good for warding off like, supernatural like spirit type things. So I like that it has a double like application here.
Mm-hmm. So many really nice shots of Brooke too. I just love the way that Oda's playing with the camera angles and the shadows on his cranium. Yeah, very very nice illustrations of the Bone Man.
Yeah, and I think it was this chapter where I kind of like realized, just kind of like he still looks like a kind of cartoony, but he also looks a little bit more like serious and like more skeletal than I kind of like really like picture him being, with such like a goofy character. But like
Yeah.
I going back through here, like again, some of the angles, like they make him really do look like a straight up skeleton, so he looks less cartoony in some of these panels. Yeah, because I mean, he straight up is just like a skeleton here, but but he's such a silly character. I kind of forget sometimes that, like the way he looks,
I love even as Brooke is doing yet another bone pun, Robin is already talking over him. The bones, ha! But how do you know so much about the zombies? She just doesn't even like hesitate. Just like, I'm not.
She's like,
No,
she's
we're not
over at
doing
this
this.
point.
We're not doing it, dude.
Do not have time.
I love so many of the close-up arts too of Brooke's face. I love whenever the skull
Yeah.
gets like super detailed and like creepy looking, and
Yeah.
it's really
Right.
good.
As soon as he's not making a skull joke or just being this lonely weirdo and gets serious, it's like, yeah, it is pretty apparent that this guy is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With like such a sad backstory too, which we'll get more of it pretty soon. But like, yeah, just like his whole deal is like he hasn't been around people, and like it does feel like a defense mechanism where he's like overcompensating by being so like over the top and like jovial, whereas like you forget this person has like been alone, so now this is his chance to actually like celebrate and be happy to see people and converse and talk to people. So, but like we can see like little moments here where like he is clearly like thinking about something, because he's been through quite a lot at this point.
And just the fact that Oda can show a person being this tortured with literally just a skull.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no facial expressions.
Yeah. Aside from just like how wide his mouth is and what angle he's on, it's just and like the little beads of sweat, which non-realistic, but still
Yeah.
pretty, but still pretty subtle. Like
Yeah.
it's really impressive.
Yeah.
It really makes you feel for the guy, and just the amount of conviction that he has going through, like again, like fleeing for his life 5 years ago, but saying, no, I have to do this.
Yeah.
I have to fulfill this pact with my friend. Down, it just makes you feel for the guy.
For sure. Yeah. So he has a purpose. Like there's a reason why he's going on. Which Frankie seems curious about, and like he wants to get more information from this guy. So we'll have to wait a little bit to get the conclusion to this conversation.
I'm so excited.
But yeah.
So excited for that. Then we come back to the dance hall. More hilarity with Kumasi.
Yeah, Perona thinks that he's just mumbling when it's the other three talking inside of him.
Cut this man a break. This bear man thing a break.
Like, sorry, I'm thinking too loud. It's not cute.
You're way too strict on it. We see that Absalom and Perona have dreams of their own. I don't know what a cemetery king is. I guess it's an ambition of some kind. But I guess it's another parallel of Luffy because we don't normally see subordinates having their own end game or things that they want, and their own agency in what they want. I guess.
Yeah,
it's another interesting parallel.
Yeah, and the way that Luffy's shadow is squirming kind of gives me Peter Pan vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's like the only other time I can really think of like a shadow moving on its own. Yeah, so it gives me Peter Pan vibes.
That's a really good point. That had to be intentional. If Absalom being once again a little on the back foot. Wait, defeated how? It's like if a shadow removed. His shadow was removed.
Well, shit.
Wow. Great job. You called that. I just want Ron Howard from Arrested Development to voice the Spider-Man.
His shadow was removed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Michael was deciding what to do with Dr. Hogback.
Oh, please.
We'll just have Sean be the narrator.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, yeah. I fuck with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever Brooks said really got Frankie stirred up here. They like him. They really like him.
Aww.
But I mean, we know Frankie is very sensitive.
He's a sucker for some good emotions. Love the guy.
Yeah, I do love that about Frankie though, because like he seems like such like a jerk sometimes, but like he really feels like deeply and cares about people, like way more than you would expect out of him.
I feel like Frankie, when he has his walls down, embodies positive masculinity, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think, and like I feel like also that I sometimes also have like difficulty with the idea of masculinity as a concept and whether it. Then that's a whole other gender studies discussion, blah blah. But there's just something very wholesome about Frankie in a way that a lot of other male characters of his type can be unwholesome, and it's just something that really really sticks with me. And
yeah, for sure.
Just love that so much.
Completely agree.
What a guy.
And very small, but we also get this name drop that Moria had lost to an idiot Kaido in the New World. So we know that Moria has lost to somebody before. So he seems he wants to maybe get this power to get back at him because maybe even he got overpowered. But Moria is one of the 7 Warlords, and he's the person that is like beating Luffy right now. So very curious.
I wonder who this Kaido could be.
We'll see. Maybe. Or not.
Yeah, so it sounds like he kind of came back to lick his wounds and try to like regroup and amass an army. So that way he doesn't have a defeat like that again. Because he does want to be the king of the pirates, so he needs to make sure he's ready.
Then we have Brook facing off against Ryuma, who's full on drinking tea, embodying the shadow that he has. We also get this huge beast-looking, giant, frozen-looking, let it go-looking, chained-up-looking, paddle a boat-looking guy, oars.
Sick splash art.
Yeah. We thought Mario was big, but look at this guy.
Yeah. Gargantuan.
So that's zombie number 900.
And a little afraid, but also excited, but also afraid.
All right. Anything else in this one?
No.
All right. Let's get Cody's summary for the next chapter.
Chapter 457. Meat. In the freezer, Moria prepares to awaken Oars as the Mysterious Three, and the barely hidden Weakling Trio, look on. Moria makes a pact with Luffy's shadow to make it submit, and shoves it into Oars' body. Soon, the giant's hands begin to move and his eyes turn to glare at the onlookers. Nami, Chopper, and Usopp scream and fall out of Kumasi. Oars tears his chains off with ease and yells that he's hungry for meat. Absalom notices that his bride and the other two guys ran off during the outburst and chases them. As they run, the trio pieces together the mechanism behind the shadows and why some of the zombies act like their friend, and Chopper admonishes Hogback. Usopp encourages them to save the others, and they realize that they'll find Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji on the ship. But Absalom catches up and hits Usopp with invisible blasts, then abducts Nami. Zombie generals and surprised zombies swarm Usopp and Chopper, overwhelming them with their numbers. Luckily, shadows start pouring out of a few zombies' mouths. Frankie and Robin have arrived, purifying the zombies and ready to save their friends. It's getting crazy.
Right.
It's getting crazy. The gag has reached its logical conclusion
Mm-hmm.
because they are. At a certain point, they're just going to get too scared.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is as far as they could go here. But they found out what they needed to.
Mm-hmm.
Frankie
Lot of
just
reactions.
cannot resist striking that pose.
But when you got forearms like that, why wouldn't you?
This man would fit into JoJo seamlessly. Like,
Huh?
it's
Yes.
just- yeah, like.
Oh man.
He
Is Iraqi drawn Frankie? Because if not, he really needs to.
really should, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I have to read. That's on my to do list.
Luffy did a little switcheroo because this Oars guy starting to say a lot of the same stuff and act the same way and have the same cravings.
Yeah. So meat. That's a very familiar one for Luffy.
I guess we'll get more into that later on. I may have jumped the gun a bit there.
Well, he does say, Sanji, food. Wait, who's Sanji?
Yeah.
It's like he's calling for somebody to give him food who he doesn't realize who it is. It's like, why did I say that? But yeah, after Nami notices the shadow make Oars actually Luffy, Nami figures out that Nupe must have Sanji's shadow.
Yeah.
So she puts the pieces together.
Poor Chopper, man.
Yeah.
He really loved this guy. Never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
It's the second time one of his idols has disappointed him. Or third? I don't know.
Who's the other one?
Well, just like in the sense that, like, for that, well, okay, briefly thought that Dr. Hero looked like hated him or something. So.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. At least that time turned out to be out of love.
Yeah, that turned out to be
yeah.
fake, but this time, no, he just sucks.
I do really like Usopp's moment here. When he has to rally the crew. No, we have to protect them. We've got to save them. Let's buck up and figure this out. Especially after, and again, I didn't hear the volume 45 discussion. I'm very eager to listen to that. But I guess just after all the insecurity he had last arc about whether they would save him, whether they would care about him, the fact that he's just, nope, we got to figure this out. Let's go. That feels like some nice progression for him, which I really enjoy. And then he brings Kabuto out. And Chopper's like, started like, wait a minute. But Usopp could very easily say, oh yeah, my homie Soga King lent it to me.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy, right? I heard you met him. Did you get an autograph? Nah, that's probably worth a lot of money.
Oh yeah. Me and Soga can go way back.
Did I tell you about the time that I visited Sniper Island? Because boy, that's a story.
Chopper would love to hear that one.
Chopper would fanboy. Honestly, might be a good way to get him out of the hogback funk if they weren't, being attacked by Absalom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Different in another world.
I did want to circle back because
Mhm.
I just love that it's Nami who's thinking about how Chopper must be feeling about being portrayed by Dr. Hogback, because like she's the one that thinks back to when he said, "Oh, he's a great man. I have the most respect for him," and then she has the one where she's like Chopper, so she seems like concerned how Chopper must be feeling. So I just love that. That's how we kind of get that little tie-in here, because like Chopper says like, yeah, he has no intention of saving people. He's nothing but a villain. Yeah, just want to tie back to that.
Yeah, it is really nice. And Oda gets to play with his classic horror tropes of just the zombie horde closing in, but then also being able to comment, "Wait, no. You're in a giant group. This is dirty. That's not fair."
You got to come at us one at a time.
Something's fucked up about this drama, homie. This is not okay.
Yeah, the zombies are freaking out now that they realize that they have figured out their weakness.
The turns have tabled, and the spice rack has emerged.
I wonder if when they were cleaning out the Thousand Sunny, if they decided to take the salt with them.
Oh, maybe. That's a good point.
I don't know if they would have thought of that, or if they had. I'm sure they would have had salt on the ship, because if they had food, they would have to have salt. But yeah, I don't know.
We may never know.
Do you guys have any other thoughts for the chapter?
That's about it for me, honestly.
How about you, Sean?
Yeah. This is gonna be my last chapter of the night, so I wanna. I just I love the aesthetics of. This oars just looks zombie oars, Luffy oars, whatever you want to call it. Just looks so cool. It is definitely a highlight of the chapter for me. It feels like a giant like this. If this was a video game, it's Oh, I see the boss for this level. We're just getting an
Yeah.
early glimpse at it, and we have to run around for a bit before we can actually fight this thing. But it gives you this sense of impending like menace that is very tactile and very visceral. Despite the fact that now that we're like, oh well, but wait, does it have how much of Luffy's personality does it have? Because if it's enough, then this actually isn't as scary as we thought. But we'll see. We have yet to see.
You have to remember, though, that in theory, that this zombie is also supposed to be obedient to Moria.
Yeah, but I mean, so was the Sanji zombie was supposed to attack Nami and didn't. So we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Definitely.
Okay, and then the last thing I just wanted to mention was the SPS. So we had mentioned it earlier.
Oh,
Oh yes, I'll stay for this.
Yeah, so this is where Oda had confirmed that this Ryuma is the same one from the Wanted one shot. And this is what the Monsters Netflix episode was based on. It was the Wanted story. Then Cody had also mentioned the version of Romance Dawn that was in Wanted.
Okay. I forgot this is in the SBS.
Yeah. But yeah, this was the Garp that was introduced for the character. So we did see Garp was actually Luffy's grandpa before, but like we didn't really see the design for Garp until after Annie's Lobby. But yeah, there was a version of Garp that had appeared before who was a pirate in a good sense, but like Oda says treat these as completely different characters. So that was just like a prototype version of the story. It's not canon to this story at all. The important distinction. All right. So Sean, did you want to sign off here?
Yeah, just because it is 2 a.m. on my end.
Yeah. Sorry, I know we ran a little bit late, but
that's all right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Right,
Appreciate you, man.
Okay. How about we move on to Ender's Great Space Mission Volume 24, Divine Judgment.
Let's do it.
Ender destroys the space pirate's machine with his lightning powers. There he is.
So they are destroyed. I'm trying to remember what Bari means. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
I actually looked it up because I was curious as well.
Hell yeah.
So it's an onomatopoeia for electricity or energy, or it's like a crackling sound.
Nice.
Yeah, because I thought I had heard of it before. I'm pretty sure Baronade in Ocarina of Time, like the boss in Jabu Jabu's belly. It's an electric jellyfish type thing. So I'm pretty sure that they must use
Oh,
Bari um, from that. That's what I'm thinking must be how they came up with the name.
okay, nice. Wasn't I feel like one of Anaru's attacks also was like either Bari or Vari or Volley or some like slightly modified romanization of that.
Hmm.
I maybe remember. I maybe this may just be confirmation bias. I don't know.
Um, he does use Bari, like Varie in some of his
Yeah,
attack, which could be based off of
yeah.
that.
Because B and V are somewhat interchangeable.
Hmm.
Not to the just not as often as like R and L, but like
Yeah.
to a similar degree. I feel like. Yeah. Nice.
Okay, let's move on to chapter 458. Anything but my afro. Frankie remarks he heard a large monster-like groan as he, Usopp, Chopper, and Robin ran down the steps back to the Sunny. Usopp tells him it's Luffy's voice, but he'll tell him about it later. The zombies rush to bring as much meat and food as possible to Oars as he demands more. Moria explains that Oars will be his underling, but he tells him no way. He has dreams of his own. He destroys the walls while shouting "Gum Gum Pistol," though he expected his arms to stretch for some reason, then announces that he will be the king of the pirates. As Brook faces down the samurai, the zombie mocks him for running away last time, begging for him not to harm his afro. Brook says it won't be like last time. 5 years ago, Brook witnessed a zombie dying after eating salted fish. He confronted Hogback, thinking fish must be their weakness. When he finds out this wasn't the case, he deduces it must have been the salt. Fearing the zombies, Brook fought them off while singing in order to help keep his mind at ease. He finally found the zombie with his shadow. Brook is quickly defeated. The zombie threatens to cut off his afro, to which he begs for him not to, as it won't grow back. He surrenders and agrees to leave the island. Brook has spent the past 5 years preparing for this rematch. Elsewhere, Absalom has his zombies prepare his wedding ceremony and order them to prepare a dress for Nami. The rest of the Strats approach the Sunny as Usopp explains Luffy's shadow was put into the giant monster. They find Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji asleep in the dining room. Nothing they do seems to be able to wake them up until Usopp comes up with an idea. He shouts, "There's a beautiful lady swordsmaster carrying lots of meat." This works, as this causes them to wake up.
Oh man. Oh. Such a great gag.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
like one of
that.
those like iconic ones that like stick with you.
Yeah, it really is.
So perfect.
Coming back to where the beginning though, I do love this introduction to Oars with air quotes because what it makes you curious. Okay, what would this guy be? What was this guy like 500 years ago?
Yeah,
Because I don't think Moria or anyone expected. I'm sure they know how the shadows work. I'm sure they understand that like the original's personality is going to be somewhat in there. Um, I doubt they expected something quite like this. It doesn't seem like it's a
yeah.
problem for Moria, but like, man, what a silly turn of events. Just the gum gum pistol, like it's so Luffy. In the like, even that is how Luffy would react to his gum gum pistol not working. It's
Yeah.
just, it's so apparent that this is our guy's shadow.
Well, this is also somebody who is now coming to life and thinking that like he was somebody else and trying to figure out like who he is. Like, so he subconsciously is doing these things that Luffy would be doing, not realizing
Mhm.
that's not him. So he's like coming to the realization as he's like going along. He's like, wait, hold on, that's not right. Or wait, who's this guy I was talking about? Like, so yeah, he's a little confused by himself because he doesn't really quite know who he is.
But then just the way he plays off is like, yeah, I thought my arm would be stretchy, but oh well, I'll be the Pirate King. It's also
Yeah.
just like,
Yep.
even the way he is coming back to life and going through this journey is still so Luffy like. So It just feels like Oda really committed to it, which I
Yeah.
love. Yeah.
Yeah, he also refers to Oria as Onion. He calls him Baby Onion.
Yeah. He's little. Oh. And it's clear that he is different. He's just built different because all the others. It was like, no. You realize who lets us move. You realize who's giving us life right now. And I was just like, what? Just eating. Doesn't give a damn. I love it.
Yeah, because Luffy has like such a strong personality that's really shining through, even in like the shadow that's been passed on to the zombie.
Yeah. It's still disconcerting that Moria has something this strong on his side, but it's also so fun at the same time.
Yeah,
And then we get to my guy Brook. This isn't my number one Brook chapter, but it's a great showing for him.
yeah.
One, he's still so hilarious in the fact that he just assumes that fish is the weakness of the zombies. Oh.
He's like so confident. He's like I know the weakness. It's fish. Humpback's like, what? Why would you think it's fish?
Well, it's not that. It must be. Oh, I figured it out. But still, this poor guy. Dude's just in a horror movie,
Yeah,
scared out of his mind. But he just has this pure resolve, and then accidentally gets this threatening. Well, I mean, like the humming swordsman, like on its own, doesn't sound very threatening, but it just he accidentally gets this gravitas to his
yeah.
to his name here, just because he's just humming to not be scared. I love him so much. He's so endearing. Oh,
Yeah, this is great because like even though like we've seen it before where he's like even though he looks scary himself, like he's still like a person. He's afraid of like ghosts and zombies and stuff. So like to make himself feel better, like he hums to himself to try to like reassure himself. But no spoilers for One Punch Man. But this reminds me of a character from One Punch Man, where it's like his reputation's like preceding him. Where so like
oh yeah,
I could just imagine,
yeah.
I could just like imagine that like so they hear like the humming, and it's like oh no, that's gotta be the humming swordsman, the terrifying humming swordsman. Like meanwhile, Brooke is like scared out of his mind.
100%, 100. It's very much in the same vein there. I see that. It took me a second, but once you,
Yeah.
yeah. Definitely see that. Oh my god. And then he just faces the world's worst mirror match.
Yeah. Yeah, so Ryuma does take advantage of Brooke being concerned about his afro, not realizing the significance for it, like what his reason is for trying to protect this afro. But he just sees it as like a big target. He's like, okay, let me take advantage of this. To the point where Brooke surrenders because he doesn't want to lose the afro because like once it gets cut, it's not growing back. So this is it.
Yeah. As far as we're concerned, it's like, okay, cool. Do you like your due? I mean, hair is important. Okay. But like respect at the same time. You're showing
Yeah.
conviction and also your life support. So like, yeah, it's we yeah. It's doesn't seem like a huge reason, but he's definitely committed to it, and that's respectable in and of itself.
Yeah, upon like first sight, it seems
Yeah.
superficial. Like you
Mhm.
don't know like why he cares so much about it.
Yeah, at this current point. But yeah, Brooks' shadow has been completely subjugated.
Yeah.
Only masters now are Master Moria and Master Absalom. So this does also serve to highlight just how special it is that Luffy's shadow is taking so much autonomy even when it's in Oars.
Yeah.
Damn.
Then we also speak of the afro. We have another one of those panels that we like to point out with Evan, where the hair goes into the panel. It's a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more subtle, but like his hair kind of blends into part of this flashback here.
Yeah.
Where it's like a nice transition because he's thinking back on it, and then it brings us back into the present where he's actually fighting Ryuma current day.
I guess the fact that Oda specifically used hatching on the afro
Yeah,
to give it the screen tone appearance, which is the same as the frame for that. It's a nice choice for using the hair in this case. I
yeah.
like that a lot. Yeah. The fact he's been training for 5 years just to show this resolve. Love that for him.
Sure.
And then we just have like a whole blank page here. I don't know what's up with that, but that's cool.
Hold on, before we do brush past the page, I just want to point out I like the little zombie guy giving me complete like Nightmare
Yeah.
Before Christmas vibes, where he's pulling his eye out, like as he's like trying to like get a closer look to like do like
It's
the measurements. Yeah,
Yeah, it's incredibly Dr. Finkelstein coded.
yeah,
Yeah, 100%. I do love that. Yeah. I don't know why he's alone on the page, but like, good for him. He's serving.
'Cause he's invisible.
Yeah. But yeah, and then we get to one of the best gags in the arc, which
Yeah.
I mean, I know I already said about Kumasi. Those are the two best gags in the arc so far. This and the Kumasi business.
And it has to do like the negative hollow.
Oh yeah,
That's a good one too.
yeah, yeah. And so I guess that's for me. Thriller Bark is there. It's the
There's some
humor is
solid
very
ones in there.
polarizing. Yeah, like there's some stuff that I think is just horrendous, and like I question Odie's decision. But then some of these gags just hit so well.
Yep.
And that's and that's it's difficult. But like I do, but like again with One Piece, I want to. The L's and the W's are both incredibly high, and I want to highlight both.
Yeah.
And these gags are W's. Yeah.
For sure.
Yep. Yeah. Fun chapter. Sad chapter. Fun chapter.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Well, anything else on this one before we wrap up?
I think that's about all I got. I just got one more.
Okay. Let's move right along to Enru's Great Space Mission Volume 25, The Helpless Space Pirate. The space pirates are not able to withstand the powerful lightning attack from Enru.
He's back.
Yep.
It's not looking good for these guys.
You don't really feel bad now because you see how like they've been like attacking the other people. They've been blowing up stuff on the moon for the excavation purposes. The Dr. Sakimi character died because of their actions, even though it was indirectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But these guys are still up to something nefarious, so it's like, okay. You had it coming. It's fine.
But I know this is a cover page, but does the art look a little less refined to you, or is it maybe just the effect from like the lightning?
I mean, I definitely see it like in the line work with Enru. I feel like there's a little less detail.
Yeah.
I guess it kind of works because it is so chaotic. And it is just this like I don't know if it's rage on Enru's part. But he is just giving them a pronounced beating, so I think it's I think it works. I don't know if it was intentional. I don't know if Oda just like had a very stressful week and this was the lowest priority, but like
Yeah.
I can vibe with it, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was like just me. Like I was just kind of getting like a sense it's a little bit less refined than I normally expect to see on the page.
No, I definitely see where you're coming from with that. I do see it.
All right. Well, with that, how about we just move on to the last chapter?
Let us do it. Chapter 459. I can't just die hoping to be forgiven. The Straw Hats minus Nami take stock of the situation. Sanji is dead set on rescuing Nami immediately, and Usopp explains everything they've learned while the monster trio was unconscious. Zoro is surprised they were able to figure out the zombies' weakness this fast. Frankie credits Brooke for the tip and speaks highly of him, then fills everyone in on the question he asked before they parted ways. Frankie asks why, after being alone for so long and in a state that would make him an outcast. Brooke was so dead set on fulfilling a path with a friend. 50 years ago, Brooke and his crew left one of their friends behind and promised to see them again. And Brooke feels an intense responsibility to fulfill that promise, even though he has no way to know if his friend is still waiting. This friend, it turns out, is Laboon, the same whale that the Straw Hats met when they first entered the Grand Line. The Straw Hats are surprised and impressed that someone is still trying to reunite with Laboon. In the mansion, Brooke tries to hold his own against Ryuma and thinks about his promise to Laboon. When he is cornered, Brooke pleads for his Afro just like he did 5 years ago, since it's the only way that Laboon could still recognize him. Meanwhile, Luffy makes up his mind that Brooke has to join the crew whether he wants to or not. Sanji resolves to stop Nami's wedding, but Zoro is the first one off the ship and acknowledges that they have to get Brooke's shadow back as well. The Straw Hats call their counterattack and prepare to blow Thriller Bark to bits. Okay, I know that I said last chapter was not my favorite Brooke chapter. It's only because this. Dude, I know I said last week that Brooke was like my favorite character almost immediately. I don't know for sure what the specific moment was because it was so long ago, but I know for a fact that by this chapter, Brooke was my favorite character.
Wow.
And it's just that compassion he feels. He has no idea if Laboon is still waiting or gave up on him. But he knows he made this promise. He knows that if Laboon is still waiting and no one comes for him, he knows how miserable that will be. And he doesn't just empathize with it, he knows it. Because he has spent so much time on his own. And yes, that would give Brooke so much catharsis to see his friend. But he doesn't want someone to go through what he has gone through and not get what they were hoping for. And there's just something so touching about that for me. And the fact that, and it just speaks to everything that, the stuff we've talked about with Brooke's introduction, the fact that there was something that seemed so surface level, frivolous, so silly with his gags, but also with his afro. It's like, okay, that first chapter, it's just hair, but no, this is the one thing he has left that can help cement that bond, and I just want him to be able to boom so badly. I want that for him. I love this guy. I love Brooks so much, man. Oh, I love him. Yeah.
Yeah, good points. Yeah, like I think this reveal is like it's so perfect where it just makes everything like click so well. So like I feel like it's a little surprising if your first time through, like you don't really make that connection. That he was from the pirates that had met Laboon that like they were waiting for like Laboon was waiting for him to come back. Yeah, so just like this connection makes him the perfect person to add to the crew. So it was like a joke, like when it was like a gag when Luffy like asked him to join the crew the first time, like story, like not in Luffy's mind, but like story wise, it was a gag. But now it's legit because Luffy's like, okay, he has to join the crew now. So this is their way to fulfill their promise to Laboon and have Brook fulfill his promise to Laboon at the same time. So 2 birds, 1 stone. So it's just like perfect way that's lining up. It's like, yeah, you need to come with us because we have to go back to Laboon anyway. So like you have to join us on that journey. So it's so perfect in the way that it ties in together so nicely.
Yeah. Logistically and also from like an emotional place, it's like, dude, we understand you.
Yeah.
This makes sense. Yeah, of course. Of course, you're a good guy, and like we want the same thing. And, like let's meet our dreams, but also just like on a very visceral sense, let's all be happy together.
Yeah.
It's, oh god, it warms my heart. The pure joy in Luffy's face, like, no, like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
It's too perfect. Let's go. And also, but like, just this very sober look on Luffy's face. It was like, no, we know that well.
Yeah. Yeah, like you were saying, like Brooke was doing this without knowing for sure if Laboon was still waiting for him. But just a chance that Laboon was waiting for him, like Brooke was like, I need to try to fulfill this promise and I need to go see him. And like now Luffy can give confirmation to Brooke that like, hey, no, this whale is still waiting for you guys. So that'll give him even more motivation to go see him now.
And so much validation for what's essentially
Yes.
a 50-year risk he took.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, man. And, oh, God, wait, no, I had something to say. Oh, and the fact that Brooke's entire dream is this gamble. He doesn't know if Laboon is waiting for him.
Right.
That's the same kind of dream that Luffy has. We don't know if the One Piece is real.
Yeah.
We don't know if there's going to be a treasure to find. But that's the kind of dream that Luffy has. That's the kind of ambition that Luffy needs on his crew. And that's why Brooke is just so perfect for this group of weirdos, you know? Oh.
Yeah. So
And
that's a
then-
great reveal and great tie back to like what we see in the story before.
Okay, I still have so much. I have a lot. Please let me know because I know it's just the two of us. I don't
Yeah.
want to steamroll you.
No, you go for it because I know you're very excited for this chapter, so go for
I
it.
love him. I just love him so much. But then we get to the question Frankie asks,
Mm,
and it's just the way he asks it is so heavy because I
yeah.
don't want to misquote him. You don't know what people's reactions will be. Someone as creepy as you, there's no way someone as creepy as you will be able to make friends. People will cast you aside. This is what Frankie went through as a cyborg. This is what Robin has went through. Not physically, but just with her face, her place in the world. These are the two perfect people to be asking this of Brooke, to be finding this out, to be questioning him. They're gonna understand. Yes, Luffy will understand Brooke's struggle in their shared ambition and that emotional connection. But Frankie and Robin are going to understand this in a completely different way. And Frankie says, if it were me, I would have ended it.
Yeah.
Because they both, in a different sense, not for as long, not necessarily to that degree, but they know what it's like to be alone. Which, there are, I don't think they're the only ones to understand what it's like to be alone. To varying degrees, it's something that I think it's something I don't think we've initially explored with the other Straw Hats, but in this moment, it just makes so much sense for them to be the ones hearing this.
I think part of it is just being different. So
Yeah.
like they're like
no, you're right.
outcast
Yeah.
in a way, you know. Like Robin has been alone, but like she's also been outcast because she's been treated like a demon without people actually knowing why. They just know that like, yeah, there's a reason why the government put a bounty on her head when she was 8, and they just saw her as like a paycheck. But like yeah, so she was pretty much outcast and had nobody to really connect with. Like Frankie, Frankie had more like connections with people, but like he ended up having to kind of develop this whole like family underground,
Mhm.
like literally underground, but like you know, like the
No,
undersurface
yeah,
of like
yeah.
Word of Heaven. But like yeah, but yeah, he kind of had to change his whole way of life after what happened to him. Um, yeah, he's just very different from like other people. So I think he can understand it looking different than other people like Brooke would. But even he says, like you said, like, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it. So like, what keeps you going? So Brooke has this drive for somebody else, which is really important.
Yeah. And it seems like the very harsh line of question to ask someone, but it really is. In a way, it's like there has to be something here. Because I understand how much it would take to do this. But thank you for reeling me in there. Because it is so much about being the other rather than just being alone. And I do feel like I feel like Chopper would have also resonated with this whole discussion.
Chopper too.
Yeah. Anyone who is recruited after they enter the Grand Line.
Yeah.
And we get to the end, and Zoro. Zoro being the first one on the ship. Zoro being the one to not Luffy saying we gotta get Brook's shadow back, but Zoro saying we gotta get his shadow back.
For Zoro to be moved, that takes a lot.
Yeah. But it makes sense because Zoro's whole dream is predicated on a promise.
Yeah.
Just like Brook says.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think of that, but that's a good point.
It's so beautiful, man. It's they're all finding this resonance. No pun intended, because he's a musician, but it just works because he just fits such a vibe for for all of them.
Yeah.
Oh, which after being alone for so long, when like he doesn't know this yet, but if he did, that would feel so good to know just how well he fits with them. I love that for him.
Yeah.
That's All right, that's my piece. Thank you for. Oh man.
Yeah. So this is a great development, and I love where this is going and the turn this took, and I'm very excited to see where this goes in the future.
I just want Brooke to be happy. I just want Brooke to be happy. I want Brooke and his whale friend to meet up again. Tell stories and sing whale songs. I want that.
All right. Well, did you have any other thoughts you want to get out for this chapter, or even the volume as a whole?
I think it's okay for this chapter. No, I think I didn't realize how funny this volume was. It's unfunny sometimes, but like just also like how much funny stuff there was here until looking back on it during our recording this. But I think it's just such a great advancement of this arc. That's so disconnected and just such a great advancement of Brooke as a character, as I have exposited on for far too long. But yeah, very very good read. And I almost wasn't on this episode tonight, but I'm very glad I was.
Yeah, me too. I don't know if we specifically just mentioned it, but the reason why he wanted to keep the Afro was so Laboon would recognize him. So just in case, I don't know if he mentioned it, but
it came up very, very, very quick. Blink and you miss it quickly. Yeah. So good.
Yeah, just a good detail because, like we were saying, like the protect the Afro seemed like a superficial thing, but he had a very valid reason because like his whole purpose right now is to meet Laboon. So if Laboon doesn't recognize him, it kind of defeats the whole purpose of why he's been fighting for this whole time. So he wants to at least try to make sure that Laboon can recognize him as much as possible. And he doesn't want to lose the hair if that's the thing that's going to connect him to Laboon. But yeah, overall.
It's for Laboon.
Yeah, overall.
Stand aside. Damn. Sorry.
I know you're excited.
I love it. Yeah.
Very good reason.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think it's a fun volume though. Just kind of like giving us some details to fill in the gaps. But overall the story hasn't progressed too much, but I think there's some fun stuff that happens here. I think it's putting us in a nice position for the story to move forward with the next volume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the pieces are definitely being set up here.
All right.
Let's see what happens next week.
So for now, that will conclude this week's episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. You can find this episode wherever podcasts are found at We Are Reading One Piece podcast.buzzsprout.com or on the YouTube channel at We Are Reading One Piece. This is a spoiler-free channel up to where we have recorded the podcast, so if you're new to the series, you can visit the channel there. You can also find me and this podcast on my YouTube channel at Pirate King Codex for more One Piece content. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, you can reach us at werereadingonepiece@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from listeners, so if you're enjoying the show, if you have any suggestions on how we can make it better, just let us know. Next episode, we'll be discussing Volume 48, Adventures of Oars. I've been Joel, and I've been joined by Sean, who had left us a little earlier, and Cody.
Everybody, zombie night.
All right, well, be sure to bring along all of your hopes and dreams, and we'll see you on the next episode.